The old bully headlock, okay? This is very common. If people don't know a lot of grappling, even in judo, this is a good position to throw from. So you're gonna get caught in this position pretty often, okay? If I can get into this position, first off, with good posture, he grabs a hold of my head, I just wanna make sure that he's not able to bring my head down, okay? So I'm gonna keep a couple connections to make sure that that doesn't happen. If I just do my hip, so my hip is part of this, I'm gonna push my hip forward and keep my head upright. So as he tries to pull me down, my hip is countering his hip's ability to pull, okay? But if I just do that, he can easily move and start to bring his head into position closer to me and bring my head down, okay? So I need to keep his head away from my head. The closer his head is to my head, the harder it is for me to be able to control that. So, hip stays in tight and I place a frame across his neck. So my forearm comes in and I back that up with my other hand. So now my hip and my arms are playing an important role here, okay? So now as he tries to pull me down, it's quite difficult. If he tries to get his head closer to me, not gonna happen, okay? And now he's created a little bit of space for me. An important concept to also think in all of these headlocks is I wanna make sure that I'm making my neck really small. I don't wanna be postured in a way that gives him a good gripping area. I'm gonna shrug my shoulders so that he's only grabbing the top part of my head. So he goes to grab, I shrug my shoulders, I drive my hip in and I frame. And then now when I'm ready to escape, the first one is just simply get your head out of that position. And then now you've got your own clench position, okay? So just creating the structure allows you to maintain the space that you can then slide your head out of, okay? So I'm here, I frame, I shrug, I make sure I'm in good position. He moves around a little bit, I make sure I'm in good base. I've got a good pocket I can escape from now. So now I just I push him forward with my shoulder and I shuck my head out. And then now I can grab my own clinch position or turn around DB, whatever. Okay? If I want to do this as a takedown, now this is obviously relative to the size of the person that you're going with. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shrug, I'm going to frame, I'm going to get my hip position. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to scoop his hip. So the frame stays in, my hand that's backing up the frame is going to go to the leg position. I'm going to walk sideways and collect his leg, but I keep my posture up. And now I'm going to scoop his hips up with my hips. So I scoop and drop. Okay, and that gets him off of my head position, but puts me in a good position to start grappling and staying on top. So again. So again, priming the same thing with the shoulders, okay? You wanna make sure you're shrugging, making sure that he's not got a good grip on your neck position. He's only holding the crown, okay? And then when he's got me down already, so I'm not able to be in good posture, I just wanna make sure I'm controlling his hips and that my posture is not terrible as well, so he can't just throw me to the ground, okay? I wanna make sure I connect with him a little bit. So my shoulder is on his back, my shoulders are shrugging, I'm holding his hip on this side, and my other hand is gonna be thumb down, blocking his knee. Okay, so now when he starts to move me around a little bit, I can stay connected and stay safe. Buys me some time. And then I'm going to rotate him in the direction, okay, that my hands are orientating towards. So this hand is pulling his hip, this hand is pushing his knee. So we have two opposing forces bringing him to the ground. When I sit down, I'm going to block this far leg again by just straightening my leg and sitting. Right? I keep the shrug, I hold the position, I sit, and I hold. Okay? From a slightly different angle. Okay, so again, hold the hip, block the knee, keep the shrug. Make sure you're in good base. I redirect and I sit and straighten my leg. Once I hit the ground, very first thing that you need to do is get in good base. My hands go straight out to the mat and I push my butt down to my heels. So when he tries to pull me over, I'm safe. Okay, then now I can go to the mount position. Block his hips. Step over, replace my hand, frame on his neck, drive forward to break the grip, and now I can go into my arm lock or whatever control position that you want to finish with. Okay? All right. This time you're in a headlock position, but your partner starts throwing strikes, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I don't go reaching for the strikes. I'm going to miss. It's going to hit me, okay? So I shrug my shoulders and I put my hands in a pike position towards his shoulder, right? So as he's throwing the strike, I go straight to the shoulder, my hands are together, and I'm kind of like spearing my arm position, keeping my head down and protecting my face. Okay, now his hand, if it moves around, tries to change angles, I'm able to protect that until I can grab the arm and hold it tight to his body. I trade it off. This hand can go on top of the bicep, or if there's a little gap, I can feed it through the gap and pin his arm to his body. From here, now that his hands are separated, I'm going to drive my hip in. I'm going to work back to good posture by stepping away from him and posturing up. So I step and open up my posture. Now from here, I'm going to keep his arm where it is, holding tight. I'm going to duck underneath it. And then I'm behind him with his arm behind him with multiple controls of both of his arms. Then I can come up to the neck position. I can kick and bring him down. And now I'm in a good finishing position. So again, spike, move down, catch the arm. Grab the wrist, open up. Go behind him. Alternatively, I can just go into a rear clench position and finish my takedown from there. Okay. If my partner has me in a headlock position and their goal is to just bring my head to the ground and land on top of me. Very common. There's judo as well, and tekeza. So what I'm going to do is as I feel him pulling me down, I still keep the shrug. My hip foot is going to step, turn this way a little bit. My foot is going to step in the midline of his stance as he's pulling. My knee is going to go to the ground. I'm going to beat his hips. So I'm holding his hip line. I'm blocking his knees so he doesn't knee me in the face as I go down. And I'm going to continue to rotate underneath him until I end up in the top position. Very important here to protect your partner's knees. Stand wide. Okay? When I go down, I want to make sure that I'm not sitting onto his knee. My foot comes here, my knee goes into the center. Now when I sit on my butt, I pull his hips over my hips. Okay? And we end up in the top position, so quickly look like this. Base. And then you can finish with the same format we did previously. Okay?